What's going to be really cool when you do this,
how you're going to come back and say to me, you gotta be kidding, that was so good.
Cover that bunker somehow. Sick. 9 holes, 9 putters from 9 decades. We're gonna see if we can break par. Let's get into it. But first, we gotta talk to a guy who owns putters from everywhere and every decade. My coach, Brian Simmons. Mr. Simmons?
hey Ben.
You need a bunch of old putters, and I figured that you might have had a couple laying around.
No, I don't have too many putters. What were you looking for?
Just one putter from 9 different decades.
And we'll head out on the course afterwards and see what we can shoot.
I think I can accommodate you.
103 yards, little into the wind, fly or lie. I'm gonna go soft 54. Normally, this is when I'd grab my DF3 lab putter, but today we're gonna be testing out 9, actually 11 putters. To intro all these putters, we're gonna go meet up with the person who lent us all these. He's got 9,000 golf clubs, and he's gonna tell us a little bit about each one of these history-packed putters. Our first putter, this is pre-1900, is that correct?
Pre-1900, it's actually says Spalding Brothers on it. Surprisingly, really solid. I've hit some putts with it, and you're going to hit some putts with it today.
Hopefully just one or two.
Remarkably, they always used hickory shafts, obviously, back then, and you have tremendous head feel.
Yeah.
Almost like it's graphite feeling, if you will, but 100 years ago.
It lays very flat, as you can see, not much to speak of on the bottom. Very sharp angles, a little bit more rounded on the top, a little bit easier on the eyes. It's funny, I feel like modern putters have gone more towards being more rounded on the bottom and then sharp on the top because it helps with alignment. But this is just old style. The milling is just a bunch of different little dots. These were probably hand stamped, each and every one of them. You can see they're not like very straight. So this wasn't done by a machine, this was done by a human. Each one of these with a hammer and a stamp, bink, 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 for that little pattern right there. It's just incredible to look at some of this technology. But 27 footer, we're gonna try to knock this in for an early bird. Thought it'd be a little faster down that hill, but that felt really good. I caught that off the sweet spot, which I think as we go farther into this video, the sweet spot on these putters is gonna get bigger and bigger, but the hickory shaft, like Brian talked about, it's got an interesting feel to it, a little bit more flex. So pretty much exactly the opposite of what modern tech does with putters. Oh, we snuck that one in there for an early par. I don't really want to rate it on a scale of like, if I went to PGA Tour Superstore, I'm like looking for a putter that I'm gonna put in my bag. As far as like enjoyment that I got out of putting with that, I think these are all gonna be 10 out of 10s. These are some fascinating putters as far as the technology, the ideas they had back then. They're going for a more flexy shaft instead of a stiffer shaft, which is like exactly the opposite of what we do these days. Number 2, dogleg left. Some bunkers run up the left side. Green is surrounded by bunkers. You're gonna see that's a common theme on this golf course. I think about 420 yards. I've got driver in hand. This is the grip. This is not the head of the club. That's right into the bunkers. Oh, that's gonna be sick. We are at Winston Trails Golf Club, and Brian actually owns this golf course, hence the office with 5,000 golf clubs in it. It's funny to me, he has more golf clubs here than at his house, really. I wonder what kind of negotiations his wife had to go through to make that happen. Actually, I haven't played this course a ton. I practice out here a lot, but I haven't played much golf out here. Yeah, we got people behind us, and we're not seeing this golf ball immediately, so I'm just gonna throw one down. I'm gonna hit 3 from here, 115. Got a sand wedge, a little bit downwind, and try to land this a little short and run it up. That came out terrible. All right, okay, a little upslope, got a 59 degree here. We'll have no problem stopping this. Okay, hole number 2, it took us a little while to get to the green here, but we got a Spalding line right by Bobby Jones. This putter was, Brian's gonna tell you all about it.
This putter is in 1930 when they made the transition from wood to steel. Most of the players back then didn't like the look of steel, so they coated the steel to look like wood. And this is a Bobby Jones Spalding putter. The most famous Bobby Jones putters were called Calamity Janes, that he won all his majors with, but this was pretty much a duplicate of that. And this putter would be in that 1930 category.
I'm not going to get a ton of opportunities, hopefully, to hit putts with these putters. If I do, then we've got a different problem. You can see this is a very, very simple putter, the flattest blade you can get. Not a whole lot of engineering went into this thing, so it's essentially a 0 iron. It doesn't appear to have any loft on it, but we're going to see if it can knock in a little 12-footer up the hill for bogey. Oh, well, that's a tough second hole. You hate to walk away with double, but it was not the line right's fault. On to the next, par 3. Less time between putters. Good for you guys. I would give that one an 8 out of 10. The history of it's really cool. The fact that it was like a Bobby Jones putter. Probably one of the original putters named after a great player. And it's a little bit like putting with a wedge. Not a lot of technology to it, very little margin for error, but we'll add 1 for the coolness factor. So 9 out of 10. Third hole. 183 yards, pretty much straight downwind, a little bit off the left. I'm gonna go with a smooth 8 iron. Go a little. Go a little. Oh, it's just short, huh? We're gonna have the chance to putt one from off the green, which will be the real test of how good we can roll it. The Otey Crisman. Let's hear what Brian has to say about it.
And Otey Crisman, one of the biggest putters on the PGA Tour back then, late 40s, mid 40s, late 40s into the 50s. A hickory shaft made out of aluminum or made out of some other lightweight materials and with lead plugs in the bottom.
Interesting.
I got to the finals of the Western Junior one year, and I played a guy that had an Otey Crisman in his bag. And I shot 1 under and got beat 8 down.
Whoa.
Just wore me out with the Otey Crisman. So you know what I had the next day? I had an Otey Crisman, boy. And so it started.
So this one's interesting because, again, we're back to this idea of just like hand stamped everything. And this is the putter that apparently wore Brian out back in the day. So we're gonna see if we can knock one in on him. We got right around a 45-foot putt here for birdie with the Otey Crisman from just off the green. This will be a nice one to roll in. I'm gonna try to harness the power of that guy that just wore him out. That thing rolled really nice. Got through the fringe beautifully, rolled across the green, just hugged the ground. A 45-footer, 2, just outside of 3 feet. We'll go ahead and brush this one in here. Okay, 2 pars and a double. We are 2 over through 3. Our goal is to break par. So we're gonna have to make a couple birdies on some of these par 5s coming in, but so far, the putter's not been the problem. My goal is that I become such a good putter that I can putt with anything, and using something with a hickory shaft, a hickory square shaft, and hand stamping in the face. That is about as far of a departure from this Lab Golf DF3 as you're gonna get. Welcome to the 4th hole at Winston Trails. This one's a gettable par 5. I think it's just over 500 yards. I'm holding driver right now. Need a birdie or an eagle here. That's important. As long as that's over the bunker, I think it's gonna be pretty good. There's a little bit of room over there. I just way overcut it. 182, green is clear, so we are good to go. And we got a tree directly in front of us. This is gonna be a bit of a tough shot. With this rough, I'm not sure how much we're gonna be able to get it to cut, but low cut around the tree is kind of all we can do. No cut. None at all, actually. Like literally 0. All right, we can get that up and down. Easy. Over a bunker, not a ton of green to work with. I definitely could have left us in a better spot. This green, this rough is thick too. Whew. It's basically gonna have to be played like a bunker shot. Should come out a little bit cleaner than a normal bunker shot, but. Oh, see, that turned out pretty good.
Tommy Armour blades were very prevalent too, and this particular one would be in the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
Leather grip, steel shaft, and one of the most sought after putters today, still in the marketplace in my world of collectibles, and very much used on the PGA Tour.
The Tommy Armour IM5 Iron Master McGregor, no milling on this face, completely smooth face. It's actually the first one we've seen so far, I believe, that had a completely smooth face. Not to spoil anything, but I'm sure a lot of you watching this video have heard of the 8802 by Wilson. It's Arnold Palmer's putter. He made that putter very famous. I feel as if this putter walked so the 8802 could run. You can see a very similar design. This grip is beautiful. A grip like this should not have held up this well from the 1950s. And hopefully it has a little bit of magic left in it so we can knock in this 9-footer for birdie. That is a par, a little bit of a disappointing par, but all things considered, not bad. A little bit clicky off the face. It's probably that I just didn't hit the center of the face that well. We got a little bit of time for me to try again here. Yeah, just a little clicky. And that went in, for the record. I was a 3rd team All-American in college, now I'm only 2nd team. So that's great, because I made the putt on the 2nd try. That's what makes me a 2nd team All-American. Hole number 5, 405-yard par 4, pretty much straight away. I'm gonna hit this one directly at the flag. It's just a hair left, kick right. I think that's gonna be just fine. Greenside bunker, I'm standing about 10 yards short of it, 348 yards from where I hit the golf ball. The watch tells you, like, it takes a GPS coordinate position of where you hit your last shot. 348 yards away, 360 to that golf ball. I love wind, wind's awesome. It's 55 to the back edge, I'm gonna say 45 to the hole. So a lengthy bunker shot, but I like our chances of getting one close here. It's downwind, that's gonna help. Release, release. Yeah, that'll do. So we're decided to call this one the 1960s hole because there's 2 very, very important putters to the history of golf that came out in the 1960s. We have the Ping Answer. This one's beached actually, so it's gonna have the ping. This is what the name of the company is actually named after. When they cut this little slit right here, the sound of the putter gets a lot more high pitched. It becomes a ping noise. This is the Wilson 8802, Arnold Palmer's putter. This isn't his literal putter, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brian had it somewhere in his office. He doesn't. Don't come to Winston Trails and try to break into his office to get it. He doesn't have it. Kind of a hard decision which one I'm gonna start with. We're gonna do a little T-flip, okay? We're gonna put the putters right here because there's a chance one of these will not be, oops, this is the one that Arnold Palmer won all of his tournaments with. We're gonna do a little T-flip. Actually, we're gonna do a T-drop. You ready for this? T-drop. And we're gonna start with the Answer.
The Ping Answer, Karsten Manufacturing, 1960, one of his original designs.
And again, we're getting into putters now that I think everybody at home has probably heard of.
Well, they've heard of this, and then it seems like everybody in the world's just copied his.
Yeah.
You know, Cameron definitely has copied it. One of the guys that made this famous was Seve Ballesteros and Davis Love.
Amazing name for a putter. I actually, every once in a while, there's a name for a product where you know the marketing team was just like, this putter is the answer. If this doesn't go in, which it will, we'll try again with the 8802. Oh my goodness. All right, 8802, bail us out. That was very straight.
The Wilson 8802, designed by Robert Mandrell. Arnold Palmer made this pretty famous. Again, steel shaft, leather grip, just a really great feeling putter. And again, people have to realize that every putting stroke's different, and this was a putter that was built for the toe to open and close because it's heel shafted so much. Well, you know, putters back then were very handsy, and very wristy, and that was because the quality of the greens that they were putting on, the quality of the grass wasn't very good, and it wasn't very fast.
Yeah.
I think that a typical speed back then was probably 8, not like today.
Both sides of it, man. Oh, I'm rolling it good today too. That's what hurts. That's a par. Another very disappointing par on back-to-back holes. Last hole really felt like we should have walked away with birdie. This hole really feels like we should have walked away with birdie. Still 2 over through 5. Gonna need to go on a run heading in. All right, hole number 6, 400-yard par 4 again. This one's a little bit into the wind. I don't think we're driving into the greenside bunker. There's a tall tree out there. I think just left of it's gonna be perfect. That was pretty much perfect there, Jalen. Wind's getting it to draw. I believe that's in the fairway. Does that sound about right? Whole lot of rollout there. That's what you get here in South Florida. It's just soft, you know? All right, end of the wind, 94 yards. I'm holding a sand wedge, and I would like to hit this close enough that no matter what putter it is, I'm just gonna go up there with one hand and tap it in. Oh man. I just wanted to give you guys the longest possible putt so we can really find out how this thing works. That, no excuses there. That was just bad. I wanted to hit as many putts with this putter as possible. That's why I left that one short of the green. This putter needs no introduction. This is the Bullseye by Acushnet. This one came out 1969, so we're gonna qualify this as being in the 70s because this is when most of the players were using it. Shaft is pretty worn out. It almost looks like a C taper. And then this grip is actually fascinating. You can, if you look at the putter face, you can see it's one of those, it's almost like the flat cat, like the modern day flat cat. I feel like when that putter grip came out, people were like, wow, so innovative. This is a new thing. It's like so cool, a different feel in putting. Nothing's new. It is nice though. It's a very cool grip, a leather wrapped flat cat. This grip would probably cost you a lot of money today. And as you can see, the printing on it is still pretty much brand new, meaning this has barely been used. I didn't see that read, but the speed was pretty good. There's only a couple putters in this video today that are still being used to this day, and this is actually, believe it or not, one of them. Corey Pavin, as Brian says, one of the best putters in the world, still uses a Bullseye. Oh. Well, that's tough. That takes us to 3 over on this video. We're gonna have to run the table on the way in. We got 3 holes left, par 3, a par 4, and a par 5, and we're gonna have to go 4 under on those holes to reach our goal of breaking par. Maybe we readjust. Maybe we see if we can birdie 2 out of our last 3. That's the new goal. 185 yards. I got 6 iron in hand. Par 3, straight into the wind. I'm gonna strengthen the grip a little bit. Hit it low. It's gonna be sweet. Well, it's low. It's supposed to draw and it's not. That went right. Dang. All right, pretty simple pitch here. I kind of thought we were going to be in no man's land, but I guess simple is it's a tougher shot. It's about 15 yards to the green, got about 6 to 7 yards of green to work with. We're gonna bunker shot, pop this thing up in the air, into the wind. It should be a little bit easier to get this thing to stop. I just burped twice during that.
This is the Zebra. As kids, we all had a Zebra.
Yeah.
One of the guys that made this really famous was Raymond Floyd.
Okay.
And he won the Masters with a Zebra. This particular one you're going to putt with today is really cool because it has a swivel in the neck of the putter, and on the sole plate it says, "This Zebra to be fitted by your PGA professional and not USGA legal until permanently fixed." There's an Allen screw in the face of the putter that you had to tighten and fix it because you couldn't have movable parts in a golf club. Leather grip.
Double bend shaft.
Started to get into the bending of shafts at that particular time.
Interesting.
And the putter for this hole, as Brian mentioned, this needed to be tightened and set. So I'm assuming they'd knocked this off to the side to where you can't move it anymore. This was an adjustable putter before adjustable clubs were considered legal. But this is a putter that your dad had a while ago, right? This is a putter that Jalen's dad used in high school, so a little piece of history. And again, you know, just leaving myself with these really long putts so we can get the full experience of these historical putters. We've hit a lot of edges today, Jalen. We can still birdie 2 out of the last 3. This is not going to be one of them. But that is a 4. We're 4 over now through 7. Under par is a little bit out of the cards, but we got 2 holes left. We can make a couple birdies, finish this video on a high note, and get into some putters that I'm pretty confident every single person watching this video has heard of. Hole 8, 415 yards. I got driver in hand, straightaway par 4. Let's knock the rust off here. I feel like I've been practicing golf a lot, but not quite playing, and that's a whole different thing. I'm excited to get back out on the golf course now that I feel like I'm starting to hit it a little bit better. Okay, just in the right rough up there. Should have a pretty good chance to get one up there close and maybe make a putt with the 2-ball. We just took a drop from the cart path and we got a pretty downwind wedge shot. I'm gonna give this about a 90-yard swing. And these are just kind of things that, like, you know, works on the range. It's not quite working on the course yet, but we're staying positive and we're just having fun with it. Golf isn't what this video is about right now. The quality of the golf isn't what the video is about. It's about learning something about the history of putters. And if I were 5 under right now, I would not be saying this. Oh man, okay. I don't know if it's the best selling putter of all time, but it is widely regarded as one of the best putters ever made. This is the Odyssey 2-ball. And we're gonna let Brian talk about it for just a little bit.
Probably, in my opinion, is one of the best putters ever made. It was the 2-ball putter by Callaway, Odyssey. It actually came from a friend of mine named Clark Collins, who had a putter called the Perfect Putter.
Yeah.
And it was similar to this, and Callaway bought the rights for the 2-ball putter. This is off the PGA Tour. What they've done on the bottom of it is they've mixed epoxy and tungsten powder to give it more weight. The insert, arguably one of the best inserts ever put into a putter.
White hot.
White hot. And this is center shafted, and they also have the alignment on it.
And this would be a putter that is basically like, if you were, say you're a putter collector, you have some knowledge, this would be like the Circle T of Odyssey 2 balls. It's
Yes,
straight off
100%. I mean, I teach Jeff Overton and Craig Bowden. Today, they're still putting with those putters.
It's fascinating.
I used to use the 2-ball blade. It had a plumber's neck on it. It was still face balanced, but it had a plumber's neck on it, and it wasn't as rounded. It had the blade configuration in it. I might actually still have it at my house. This grip has barely been used. Odyssey White Hot. Man, this is such a beautiful putter. And as Brian mentioned, this is like the Circle T of Odysseys. How about that putt, Jalen? That's pretty good. And that is a par. We broke our little bogey streak. That feels nice. 4 over with 1 hole to play. Par 5. Let's birdie the last and break 40. How's that sound? All right, we're teeing it off on the whites here. The blues are right there. Jalen can actually show it, but it's the same distance. You just can't really see the golf hole. So we're going from the whites. The actual blue tee is closed because the trees are overhanging and you hit the tree in your backswing. I found that out the hard way. There's one tree trunk that you can see the entirety of. That's my aiming point. Sit down. Sit down. Kill it, wind. Sit. Chillin'. It's like 310 to those bushes. If it's downwind, they're very much in play, but thankfully, a little bit of breeze in our face, that thing is just fine. 230 to the flag, pin's way in the back. I'm gonna guess it's like 200 to get onto the front edge of the green. We're in the rough and dead into right around a 15-mile-an-hour wind. So I'm hitting just a smooth 5-iron. If it gets to the front edge of the green and rolls out back towards the hole, amazing. And we'll try to knock one in with the most modern putter on earth, the DF3. Get up an inch. Yes. Roll out. Yes. Stop. Yes. That was the feel that I've had on the range lately. And it took me 9 holes, but we found it. Put her there. That was it. And I gotta say this right now, just so I don't forget. We kind of just lock out this left arm, okay? The left arm is what controls everything. We want this to just be like one solid thing here. So we lock it out, and then we rotate, keeping that left arm in the same position. We let the arms drop, but that left arm remains an extension of the shaft. And it makes it so much easier to control the club face. The final hole, the final putter. This would be our 10th putter in this video. We ended up using two putters in that 1 hole. This is the DF3, this is the Lab. This came out in 2023. And for my money, I think this putter, it's just fascinating because we have almost 140 years of development in this bag right here. And then I honestly think this is just gonna blow everything up. Like, this is such a good putter. The technology is incredible. It's so well balanced. I don't know what the shaft does. I have no idea. I don't really know what anything does except for that lie angle balance technology. It just feels like no other putter I've ever used in my life. And this experiment was to confirm to myself that I can putt with anything. We didn't make many putts today, but I hit a lot of really good ones. It's just nice to know, like, I can hit good putts with just about any putter in the world, but I have the best putter, in my opinion, the best putter in the world in my bag. And I'm not paid by Lab. I don't have any kind of partnership with them. I would absolutely take one. I mean, I'm gonna probably use a Lab putter forever. So for the last putt, this eagle putt from 27 feet, let's go ahead and roll one in with this amazing piece of golf technology. How poetic. Another great putt that didn't fall. That's a birdie on the last to break 40. Not quite our original goal, breaking par. But the golf game is a work in progress, and the point of this video wasn't necessarily the golf. It's fun to play golf. It's fun to have a little bit of extra involvement in the video, but the main point was just documenting the massive amount of progress we've seen in putters from when golf started to now in 2024 when we have this propeller blade right here. I know this isn't quite the tour content. I know this isn't quite the golf improvement, the game improvement stuff that you guys are used to seeing, but this was fun for me. I got to learn a lot about the game of golf, the history of putters. The putter is really such a fascinating piece of equipment because there's so little technology required, but so much opportunities for breakthroughs in the science. And getting to see the origination of the putter evolve all the way to right here was really, really cool. And of course, as you guys saw, there's 5,000 golf clubs in his office. There's a whole lot of putters. There's a whole lot of versions of this video right now. Golf history, the evolution of golf equipment. We can do tons of videos like this. We can do this forever. If you guys want to see a second part to this video, go ahead and drop a like, comment below what exactly you'd like to see out of the next version of this video, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Always press hats are probably still in stock in the shop for $25. Go get yourself one before they run out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.